did a big right-click on Moscow, which may or may not have been the most brilliant move ever, but it got the job done, so whatever. I am a god-tier tactician. Shut up. Global domination from the Shriki Kingdom. I also can get playthroughs in the Shriki Kingdom. Buff, I mean, we're clearly going to have to at some point. So, if you weren't here for any of the previous stuff, if you don't know what the Kaiserreich mod is, it is a massive, massive, massive historical or alt history mod that asks a very simple question. What if Germany had won World War I? What kind of changes would have happened? Well, at this point, we are in 1945, so a lot has happened since we started the game. So 9 years have passed, and apparently the end result is that at some point in World War II, some Chinese nationalists really get the engine of war going and just take over huge swaths of land. No, I didn't set up the closed captioning yet. I'll try it. I got some links to it and stuff like that. We're going to take a look at some point. We'll see. Yeah, we have no political power right now because we were occupying a lot of territory. And while we were occupying territory, depending on exactly what our occupation laws were, it drained a lot of political power. We are gaining plenty right now that we're at peace. And I suspect we're going to take a beat, I think, to reorganize ourselves before we go to war against Germany, which is almost certainly the next thing to happen. How many gift subs just happened? From, is it Jonathan Skyfell? The chat is going so fast, I actually can't tell what's happening. Well, that is a first. Jonathan Skyfell just gifted 99 subs to the channel. That's amazing. Holy cow. That's probably the biggest number that you can do, I'm betting, in one go. 99 subs from Jonathan Skyfell. Thank you very much for that. I mean, thank you for the support of the channel, and also helping to build our community. Lots of people who may not have been able to have subs, can now have it, and, you know, take part in more of the chaos that we've got going on here. So thank you very much for that. That's really incredible. 99 loose balloons. 99 sub balloons, maybe. I don't know. Hero 4 Quill not found. Yeah, that is, holy crap, that's amazing. Chat is still moving fairly quickly. I don't know if you've said anything in chat since then, Mr. Skyfell. But thank you very much for that. That's really amazing. Thank you. Holy crap. Just... Anyway, we're supposed to play video games. Let me talk about video games for a bit. Damn, that's awesome. I know we have to talk about the subs and resubs soon, but I'll get things going a little bit first. So yeah, so we've gotten taken plenty. Currently, we are at peace. We've just recently pieced out Russia. We've got lots of construction to do. I went and, right before the stream started, reordered things. We've got some, I'm going to repair civilian factories first, not that there's very many. There's lots of infrastructure that got a little bit damaged. Repairing goes really fast, so it should be okay. We'll do that, and then we'll repair some military. We actually have no new construction in the queue whatsoever. Very soon after we unpause, we will likely get prompted for new construction, just because it's going to go so quick. We are currently, let's take a look at our tallies here. We have 333 military factories. That's a fun kind of number. 1/5 of the chat just received a gift subscription. That is crazy amazing. Ha! We have 329 civilian factories. Makes me want to build 4 civilian factories. Although, I guess this doesn't include the damaged ones. Yeah, because those are just the ones in use. Plus, as people change their imports from us, it could mess with some of the number of factories. So actually going for an even amount doesn't make much sense. We have a bunch of naval dockyards available that actually aren't being used. We have 65 available. We're only using 21. We do want to do a little bit more naval sort of queuing up of things. But before we do that, we're probably gonna have to take a look at our resource situation. It's amazing to me that we're running a deficit. Now, in truth, we actually produce enough steel within our borders to satisfy all our steel needs. The problem is we're exporting about a quarter of it. We could change our export laws, but that would have other impacts and things like that, so we'll see. We want to do more naval gazing. Ah, Gava, God, every time, just terrible. Thank you, I love you. You're terrible, but I love you. The rubber is really the big problem. We have queued up enough construction here with our newly gained military factories. We have tons of construction queued up, and a fair amount of it wants rubber, and we really don't have that much. Now, we could do a bunch of imports. Which wouldn't be bad. Actually, the Kingdom of Siam over here. What's your deal? Are you independent? Yeah, the Kingdom of Siam is actually independent. We actually may want to trade with them. What's nice about trading with Siam is because we have, there's a land connection, sort of. There's some countries in between. But we can trade with them without having to use any convoys, which is kind of nice and convenient. Weirdly, we don't need convoys for the Dutch East Indies. Why do we need convoys for the Dutch East Indies? We must share a land connection somewhere, but... I don't know. Running low on manpower, change the law? Yeah, you're right. We only have 6.5 million manpower, which, I mean, honestly, as a factor of our total population, maybe isn't that impressive. But yeah, I don't know how we got the, India, maybe? The Dutch East Indies, are they here? Like, the Dutch East Indies, I'm assuming... We got more gift subs coming in. Dash! Hey, thank you very much, Dash! Oh my god, this is awesome. Is there a strait near Malacca? What is this Dutch East Indies? Right here! Okay, this must be it. This one little island is part of the Dutch East Indies. Yeah, there's no strait crossing over here. But this little island here has a strait crossing into Singapore, which is mainland. So I guess this counts as Dutch East Indies having a land connection to us. Fair enough. Okay. So we could import some rubber in exchange for some civilian goods factories, which I think is fine. We have tons of civilian goods factories right now. We're okay. I think that is the correct answer. We can probably live with a slight shortage of steel. A lot of this is probably for ships. The aluminum thing kind of sucks too, but it's not too bad. We may research some more excavation tech. We will see. The next war I would like to do is against the German Empire. So, in this version of alt history, the reason the Nationalist Chinese didn't sort of form China pre-World War II is because in this version of history, the German Empire stopped the Northern Expedition. So we got obliterated and turned into not a country. The KMT. We had to, come back from rebellion. So we've got some vengeance to extract on this German Empire for what happened in the interwar period. Furthermore, speaking of rubber, Germany East Asia over here has got a whole lot of it. If you take a look at the resource map mode, we've got a good amount of rubber down here. The other thing is, Germany's got these little annoying little naval bases in what is clearly Chinese territory. So we're gonna have to do that. Yes, there is an import of oil going on right now. So that's the other thing. We're importing some amount of rubber. Not much, but some amount of rubber, which we want to embiggen that. In fact, what I'll probably do is, oops. There we go. Let's bring it down just one notch here. We'll import a bunch of rubber from the Dutch East Indies. I think we're going to be quite pleased with that. Because what are we doing with all the rubber? Mostly, we want to work on getting more mechanized vehicles. We want to upgrade our infantry to a more mechanized kind of thing. Just because we have the production for it, and theoretically, we have the imports for it, so it should be okay. We don't really need the mechanized infantry or mechanized equipment to protect our manpower, but every life is precious. Every Chinese life is precious. I don't care about the rest of the world, but every Chinese life is precious. So we'll protect it inside some mechanized equipment. That seems fine. We're also critically short of motorized right now, although I suspect as we retweak some of our division plans, that may change a bit. We do have 500 army experience ready for a retweak. That's why I'm thinking there's going to be a bit of a building up period and a reorganization period before we actually pull the trigger on the Germans. Working on some towed anti-tank, which will be nice. We need some rubber for our planes as well, which is part of it. So we've got that. Now the oil thing, we actually produce quite a bit of oil. We are importing some from our previous state of war, and the import of the oil is still going to help us max out our consumption fairly quickly. We probably want to cancel the imports at some point, but I think we can leave them running right now. Not making motorized, actually. Well, okay, right. Because, well, I think if we unpause, because it's got some of the resources, motorized should be getting made. It may just need to be recalculated, because we have some of the resources, so it's slow. But yeah, once we get our rubber imports, this should kick in and be fine. We got 25 factories set up on that, I think we're going to be okay. So, let's talk about our, some people are asking about our politics. We are radical socialists. This is what we started as. The left KMT. So the Kuomintang are the Chinese nationalists, and historically there was sort of a right side and a left side to it. We are specifically playing as the left KMT. In Kaiserreich, you can play as the right, you start somewhere else. Neither one of them exists at the start of the game, but depending on who you start as, and then certain decisions that happen, you will split off as that. We started as the League of Eight Provinces, which eventually breaks out the left KMT, who start as radical socialists, and I saw no reason to change that. It sounds like a lot of fun. We are in no faction, and that's going to stay that way. I mean, why do we need a faction? We're the ultimate chunky nation over here. Ba-da-da-da. Radical socialists. Too many rads, get some rad away. Rao Mao was the other leader of the KMT, right? He was a totalist. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know, especially here in Kaiserreich. Like, I don't know what the flow of things is going to be. Starting on the right side of the map, he's almost on the left side of the map. Yeah. If we go, is it F5 over here? So you can see us. And we have the Philippines as well. We have no disconnected bits anywhere, which is kind of nice. So yes, definitely our target is Germany. If we right-click on the German Empire, you can see itself, and the blue bits are places in the Reichspakt. So they will also be in a war with us, which is fine. So we'll rip our way through, most of Scandinavia. That's going to be fine. Eastern Europe, all the way into the German Empire. Sounds like a good time. Hopefully we can get there before. I was going to say the Allies, but the Third International. Hopefully we can get there before the Third International does too much, and we can take the holdings over here. We may not even bother invading the East Indies themselves, which, by the way, are in Reichspakt, so we're going to lose our rubber as soon as the war starts, although we can import it from somewhere else or something like that. But we can keep that in mind. Okay. What's the state of the Second Weltkrieg? So the Second World War, what's amazing to me, it's 1945. World tension's only at 78%. If we look at the current wars, here they are. The Australasian-Brazilian War, although there's tons of people, like, it's Australasian-Brazilian, but yeah, here's the Second Weltkrieg over here, right? So the Reichspakt over here versus the Third International, and a couple of factionless people. Alright, done. And we're just, like, watching them do stuff. Socialized North America, we may give it a try. Has Canada conquered some U.S. lines? No! The borders are actually natural borders. We've got the Democratic Party in the United States through, like, a weird series of outcomes from the Civil War, which is like, how did this happen? Let's take a... Okay, so let's draw some battle lines. We're not going to go to war right away. I'm not going to justify wars or anything like that, but we may as well. White Ruthenia is in the Reichspakt? Yeah. So, the Army Group 1... They're going to be responsible for heading west. Ooh, chunky little lag for the... Maybe because I have so many things selected. Because full army group, 5 armies, each army full of 24 divisions each. It's pretty big. So we're just going to draw some sort of battle... How come I can't do that? It's all common term? No. Or not common term, but... Okay. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll just start by drawing. So you have some planning. We'll draw some sort of battle line through White Ruthenia. Whatever. I don't really care. So, that is going to be Army Group 1. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate them to theaters to make it a little easier to sort things out. So this is going to be the Western Front over here. Army Group 2, we're going to make a new theater for you. And again, if we take a look at the Diplomat mode and we take a look at some of our targets, again, German East Asia is definitely going to be one of those. So this is going to be Southeast Asia. And Army Group 2 is going to just... Oh, there's impassable terrain, which is going to make this annoying. Rather than do an Army Group battle plan, I think we'll do something like that. And then something like that. And then Teal over here, I don't know. Technically, there's maybe a little gap. Maybe we can send you somewhere else. We may have to take out Siam to be able to reach some of these things. Maybe not yet. Oh, wait, am I trading with Siam? I don't remember. Maybe that's... Is it trading with Siam instead of stuff? Anyway, who cares? We'll figure it out. Yeah, I don't know what the rest of it's going to do. We've got Army Group 4, because I think 3 is over here, the garrison one. Belgrade pack. Oh, there we go. Army Group 4 over here. New theater. This is going to be for Scandinavia. And then what we might do is just reorganize, like, what troops are in what army and things later on. I guess, okay, even though it's in the same faction, I guess I can't draw an offensive line through to another nation. Alright, I mean, fair enough. Sure, yes. Oh, right, the Chinese port cities. Thank you very much. So that's going to be what's going on here with, I don't like that there's 2 teals. Let's make you into red. So, what are you? Army 10. Yes, you are going to go here. Are there 2 provinces here? That's really tricky to draw. We're going to build another front line here, like that, and we're going to grab half of you guys and just put you in that battle plan. And then right over here, hold on, if I go to F5 mode, and it might be easier if I right-click on the German Empire here. So blue, blue. Okay, no, I didn't miss one. And then there's this over here. So I will draw another front line. I'm going to split this group in half and in half again. Draw a battle plan, and then do that. Okay, so theoretically, we've cut those. I don't know. Quill on one screen, Stellaris on the other. One nice Monday. That is a good way to operate. I like that. So many games. My favorite games are all games I can play while also sort of half watching something on the other screen. Surely all your army is red. Hey. No. Don't we also have an exclave South Lithuania, right? Yeah, so we have a tiny bit of land right over here because border gore happened, which actually will sort of be fine. I mean, we don't care about defending it. What's going to happen at the start of the war, the Reichspakt, like when I start justifying war, they're going to surround this area. So some of their troops are going to be here semi-pointlessly instead of on the front line. Not that I think it's going to matter. And again, we're not going to declare war right away. We're going to reorganize the army first, but so we have a general idea of what might be going on. Let's take a look at the design of our dudes here. Okay, what is the mechanized division looking like? Okay, and then we have our infantry divisions over here. Oh yeah, with their very odd combat width, because of modifiers we have, it ends up being a kind of a bizarre number, but that's okay. I think with the mechanized division over here, you know what we need? We need, like, a tank with, like, we need anti-tank tank. Also self-propelled artillery, which I don't think we have any of that tech. No motorized artillery. Never mind. Excellent. Okay. We could throw in a motorized anti-tank, but that's not really what I meant. Like, I want a kind of a heavy tank destroyer, just to add more hardness. Although, this group, actually, never mind. This group has to have tons of hardness. I suppose if we added a tank, we'd get a ton of breakthrough, which would make it better for the attack. But, honestly, this group is kind of a death machine as is. If we just, Mechanized Warfare Study Commission? Is that the name of this, really? So we can end up with 20 combat with army over here, all mechanized. 58% hardness, which is really good. There is some amount of armor. I mean, not a tremendous. It's not going to be the hardest thing in the universe to pierce the armor here, but you're still going to need some amount. Some amount. Yeah, so we're going to add support units for sure. We want support artillery. I think we're going to want support anti-tank, engineer, recon, and then last slot... Mechanized needs more supply, not to mention fuel, than leg infantry. So I think there's 2 ways to kind of think about this. Either we add a logistics company to help cut back on the fuel usage and supply usage on something that's a little heavier, or we may want to go out of our way and not deploy mechanized infantry in as many places where supply is going to be a problem. I think we throw the logistics company anyway, and then maybe still sort of work on that. So here's our mechanized over here. I think this is going to be a great fun division. I have plenty of fuel. It's not the question of fuel production. It's a question of the fuel reaching places. So it's not about fuel production. It's about supply and getting the fuel and everything. I mean, does Does fuel move like the supply system? I don't think so. I don't think fuel movement's actually represented. I think it's mostly a question of if a unit is supplied, then it draws fuel from the stockpile, right? Leave artillery out of support, you have line. That's true. We could drop the support artillery and then throw in a signal company instead. Huge bonus to initiative. Actually, I kind of like that. Buff, I think that's not a bad idea. Well, what I think I'm going to do, Buff, is I'm going to research a heavy tank with the tank destroyer mod, and then throw that into my infantry. We'll see. What is the dog tag drop down in the division designer? Right over here? Oh, this is what it's going to name the units based off of. So you can use historical naming for units and things. So if we went mechanized, there we go. We'd use historical unit names. Done. Don't forget, you can set fuel priorities on the logistics screen. Yes, that is true. That's something I haven't done yet. But it is something we could look at. So at the bottom over here, prioritize what units the fuel goes to. So probably something like max army, least navy. Not that we're really consuming much of that right now anyway, but it's something that we could sort of consider. So, I mean, that's thing number one. Before I do any other redesigns, because that's really about all that matters, and this is on Infinitude, I'm going to have this sort of finish this track, and then possibly just start producing mechanized divisions at that point. Just in case, I'm going to tell all these armies H to halt, so they recalculate all their movement. There we go. So they'll go wherever. 40 width. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the 40 width is really strong, and we may work at that. We could, the entire mechanized division could just be 40 width. It depends on how quickly we want to be able to convert more of our stuff to mechanized. But it may be pretty fast. Right now, how much mechanized we got? Only 3.5k. Yeah, we're dramatically short on motorized, partially because we haven't been making some in a while. But some of this is going to cycle over, and right now I got a short advanced tank, but that's all right too. Okay, let's figure out the shipping thing. So what does our Navy look like right now? Basically, it doesn't look like anything. Oh, right, all we've been making is subs. I forgot about that. Mostly because we didn't really have the means to do anything else. We do have some Navy experience, so we can maybe make some adjustments over here. Oh no, we did start producing destroyers, although there's a lack of steel, so really nothing's being produced at all. We got a request for 100 of those. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a second line for our destroyer escorts here, like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Honestly, I think we'll end up needing more than 100 of these destroyers. Let me add a couple more lines of this. We're still not having enough. I'm going to arrange for about 200 of these. These are destroyer escorts. These are going to be our convoy escorts. We don't have the naval tech right now to really build impressive ships. We're going to start with just the escorts so that we're not as vulnerable to submarine combat. And speaking of submarines, I will put a cap on this. Build me... actually, we'll do the same thing. We'll set this to like 50, and I'll start another line of our subs. Let me just group these together. And same thing. So we'll get about 100 subs for convoy rating, 200 destroyer escorts to escort our convoys, and hopefully we'll get some more tech for other things. Right now, we don't have the material. Well, we're going to make some adjustments on our trade and things like that. Adding the more dockyards isn't really going to produce anything, mostly because of the shortage of steel. And the question is, do we want to import steel? I mean, we may as well. We could import it from some of our enemies. Here, let's, Oh, you only have one left. And you're in a war. Some of these will probably get lost. We could just import some from Finland for a little bit. Like, yeah, we're going to declare war with them soon. But that's fine. Let's bring a little bit of that in. But some more excavation tech would be good. There's a lot of work before we set things. Right, we're trying to get the new support companies. 1939 on Recon. Like, we only have Recon Company 1 right now, which is just miserable. We have too many ships. Let's build another 300. Yeah, well, we've got a, not a 5-year plan. We've got, like, a 1-year plan to become, like, a massive naval power. We can't rush battleships and things like that just because there's the limit to how many things you can attach to it for now, but that's going to have to be okay. Airplane-wise, guys, is there, like, a select all airplane button? Has that... Because I'm trying to, like,